is an incredible athlete. He is a superstar.
Back then, I was like,
I offer you a lot of money.
There she is. That is Terry Marotta, the author of the book, Vacationing in My Driveway.
yeah.
Terry, how you doing?
You're not going to be disappointed. I'm doing fine, thanks.
Tell me, you're from Boston.
I'm from Boston.
So say hello to our friends up in the New England area. We
I
are
will.
from Maryland to Maine. Say
I
hello
know
to your
it.
friends up there.
I will. I'm on the circuit all the time. I'll go up there and do it.
We're just part of the circuit.
Yeah, no, you are the circuit. You're the whole thing.
I heard we're big up in New England.
You're huge. Every time I turn on my TV, it's you.
At least in my own mind. That's because we have a deal where you turn it on. It's us. Terry, tell us real quick, the title. Where does it come from?
Well, it means like wherever you are, you can have fun. It means like sometimes the best part of your day is when you pull up outside your own house and you turn off the ignition and you think, oh, I'm just going to sit here for a sec before I go inside and start banging the pots around to make the dinner. And then when you just give in and give up and stop trying and running and hurrying, then all of a sudden you notice, my gosh, it's a beautiful day, you know, and look at those cats going by, dragging a couple of mice, and here are the birds, and, you know, maybe it's all going to work out, and maybe I don't have to balance my checkbook while I'm watching One-on-One tonight. Maybe I can just watch One-on-One.
So, boy, you said a lot there, so I'm going to try to follow up on a few pieces. Are you implying, Terry, that we, in general, don't know how to relax?
You know that's true, particularly those of us on the Eastern Seaboard.
What's up with us?
And Americans. I don't know. We're hyper-vigilant. It's like we were in battle at some earlier incarnation. We're all like that. Those people are doing their makeup in the car, for example. So my mission is like to get everybody to just chill. I'm in line at the pharmacy. I talk with the other people. A lot of people are mad at the pharmacy because they're waiting and waiting to get their prescriptions filled. I think it's better if you can just like bloom where you planted, like we used to say in the 60s, and just have fun with the people around you. So I talk a lot to strangers, and that makes, you know, it feeds me.
Yeah, I picked that up in the book. She
Yeah.
talks to strangers. I'm thinking, what do you mean you talk?
Well, like you're on the subway, for example. I was going to Fenway Park to see the Red Sox, and there was a girl, and she was...
By the way, as we do the program, I just want to be clear that the Yankees and the Red Sox are in a series.
I
Probably
know.
When we're repeating the program and the baseball season is over, it'll be clear once again that the Red Sox were second. But as I was saying, Terry, as I was saying, okay, I'm sorry, as you were saying, you're on your way going to Fenway.
Yeah, and I'm in the subway, and I see this young woman, and she's got her little date book, and she's looking and looking, you know, and she's doing just what I was saying. And I looked over her shoulder, and it said Sarah's birthday, and I just couldn't resist. I said, it was yesterday. I said, so did you do anything about Sarah's birthday? And she said, this total stranger, and she said, no, you know, I didn't call her. I've sent her flowers this morning. I missed it. And my poor kids are over here, and they're like, oh, she's doing it again.
She's doing it again. What do they mean when they say that?
They mean, why does she have to engage with everybody? I suppose, you know, kids like to be anonymous. If you fall down, they'll keep walking. You know that. They'll act like they don't know you.
My little boy who's here with us, Stephen, who's about to turn 11, does wonder why I talk to people.
You do it too.
Yeah.
Well, because it makes your day, right?
Usually when they have nice things to say,
yeah,
it does. But I will tell you, there's a section of the book that struck me. Let's make it clear, by the way, you're our columnist.
Yep.
You've been writing for how long?
1980.
It's a lot of columns.
Yeah, once a week, yeah. I got to write tonight. I'm going to write on the way home on the plane.
I thought you were just going to enjoy the plane ride.
Oh, yeah.
I hear you. For those of us who write, okay, we always have to find time. Terry, you've set this book up a column a week, right?
Yeah.
So I happened just to turn to September, and I was struck by a column called In Our Routines.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, this is about summer.
Yep.
Summer's just passed. All the things we said we were going to do. I meant to clean out the floor of my closet, didn't do that. I meant to swim more this summer, but I didn't. All the things we say we're going to do in the summer.
What's wrong with us? Well, maybe it's better that we do nothing. Maybe it's better that we just fall asleep reading and that we listen to the Red Sox until you know, again, sleep comes to us. I mean, we're going to do all these projects, but why? We're alive right now. I mean, how many years are you going to get? Maybe what you're supposed to do is just look at the person beside you. I became a massage therapist by mistake a year or two ago.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
What's this mistake?
Well, my life is pretty crowded already, never mind with...
Describe your family.
I have 3 kids that my husband and I made ourselves using the Handy Home Kit. And then
How old are they?
they're 26, 24, and 19.
Okay.
And then we have 6 extra kids who came to us by various other means. 4 of them are African American kids, come through the ABC program, which is a wonderful thing, a better chance. They come from the city. And then 2 other kids came
City
to
of
us.
Boston.
City, just generally the big city. No, they come from, these kids are all from New York City.
Oh, from New York
and
City.
They go to Winchester High School, that's my town. ABC is a national program, and they get a fine education, and then they go on to college, which they might not have been able to do coming out of their own neighborhood schools.
These kids are in your home.
They were in our home for the years that they were in the ABC program, and then they came to our home again in the college years and after the college years, and now they're cemented right into our family. And so there's a gang of them, and our family is like, my mother used to call it the Emma Lazarus house. Like, you know, I lift my lamp beside the gold. You never knew what kind of music you were going to hear driving up. We got the Bob Dylan on one floor, we got the Bob Marley on another floor, we got, you know, just whatever.
We're talking about how crowded your life is.
Yeah. But in a lovely way, in a real, I mean, that's, you come home, and sometimes I just circle the house. I go all around it, and I think, man, I got to go in there and get that meatloaf started. But when I sit outside in the driveway, I look in the windows, and I see the boy there starting on his calculus, and I see somebody in the kitchen chopping carrots, and I can see in the living room somebody's got the tube on. I see Dave upstairs in the bedroom reading his Wall Street Journal, hiding from everybody else. Dave's my husband. And I think it's like a dollhouse with the wall removed almost, because all those lights are on. Let's say it's a November night. And I just think, look at them all. You know, I'm never going to want for people to know who I am. The more strangers you make friends with, you'll never feel isolated. And the family that you have that comforts you is the family that you make. It's a chosen family. You don't have to share blood. It's the people that you choose to love that become your family. And it doesn't matter if it's the nurse's aide at the end of your life and you're in the nursing home.
But Terry, as you talk about family, and clearly you're extremely passionate, not just about your family, but about life and about enjoying oneself. But I'm thinking, for those of us who are writers, people out there trying to create whatever, we talk about our families. You talk about your family.
In public?
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah.
And they're not always thrilled.
Oh, well, I have to like sign off from the kids. I usually am free to talk about David whenever I want, because, you know, men make a wide target. Yeah.
Back up. I'm not going to let you get past that. What do you mean men make a wide target?
Well, first of all, they have terrible memories, so they're not good at the fight, because, you know, we know exactly what you did wrong and what you said in public and so forth. Yeah. But it's just hard to, you know, I go out with Dave and we're having a date, we get a babysitter, I get all dressed up, I look like a bridesmaid. He looks like, well, this is what I think comes to mind. He looks like the Darryl and Darryl brothers on the old Bob Newhart show. He's just kind of shuffling along. The guys at work call him the UPS man because he wears the beige pants and the beige polo shirt. And he's the boss, and they call him the UPS man. But, so, I mean, I kid him. An older fellow came up to him at church once and said, "Are you David Marotta?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "I don't know how you stand it, being described in the newspaper each week." But he's a great guy, and much of it is extremely loving stuff. There's a little poking fun, and then it's like a love letter. I've been writing him love letters for 23 years. The kids, I have to get clearance.
You ask before?
Yeah, usually. In the years particularly, when my daughter was 13, she began hanging out in public places, you know, and people came up to me and they said, "Your daughter's downtown hanging out in public places." And I think I saw her leaning against a public building, and I believe she was smoking a cigarette. And of course, that's horrifying if you find out that your 13-year-old is experimenting with tobacco. You know, that's the extent of it. But so I had some fun describing some of her friends over that period. Like, you know, you find out that your kid is hanging around with a kid who keeps a pet rat, and the pet rat drinks water out of the kid's mouth. And finally, my daughter said, "Could we leave those anecdotes behind forever, please?" You know, so. In retrospect, you find out that nobody, I guess, likes to really be characterized. So I'm very careful now.
I appreciate that. And I'm just going through the book. Just happened to tune into, I'm thinking, television, March. For That and For the Sky. I mean, I just threw it at you. There are 52 here. Do you know that one?
Yeah. It's about early spring. It's about feeling the earth warm up again. See, the subtext, lots of the book is funny. I mean, a lady wrote me a note and said, "I laughed so hard reading this particular chapter that the coffee I was drinking shot out my nose." Isn't that nice?
That's almost as good as John Updike, the great John Updike. I'm reading it back. Says, Terry Marotta, writes like a dream.
How about that?
So which one is better, the coffee out of the nose
I think
or
the
Updike's?
coffee out of the nose, because clearly he was just being nice. I wrote him a condolence letter when his mother died, and sent him a column about how my mother died at her own birthday party in my living room. And that was it was so dramatic and painful and shocking to all of us. There were 50 of us in the room. It was like this Houdini trick that she did. It was amazing. An hour later we had the cake, and an hour later we had I had her empty clothes in my hand, and she was vanished. She died in front of us. It took her 2 seconds. She was gone. No CPR would help. It was just like an escape artist.
Did she have a...
She was perfectly fine. She had her second drink on her knee. Imagine that. That's how to live. That's how to die.
You wrote about that.
Yeah, it took me a while to get over that. I was her baby, and she was a single mom, so she was all that I had for a parent. And she was funny and brave, and she never said a bad word about that husband that left before I was born. She was great, and so for a while I thought, I sort of stumbled, I think, I wasn't so funny for a little while there. But then this magical thing begins to happen to human beings. The person that died enters you in a mystical way after the grief process matures. And I began to get kind of brave. I used to be so shy. I couldn't look up. I thought my bangs are too curly and stuff. I couldn't call and find out what time the movie was. But after Mom's death, and I was a woman 35 or 6 or 7, I began to be somewhat like her, quite a lot like her. And I take comfort from that. And the theme of the book, too, is that, winter comes, everything lies barren. It's all so hard. Your heart is broken. This one is lost to you. But then, right in that same soil are the seeds of the new thing. And here comes somebody new that you can love. My mother will never come back and touch my face again. I will feel her in odd ways. But here comes a total stranger down the street who could be very significant to me. Because for the 5 minutes we interact with each other, we might have these messages that are, I don't know, we bless each other in some way.
Excuse me, if you choose to be open to it and see it and experience it.
Yeah, well, that's why, that's what you have to do.
Is it going on all around us, Terry, and we miss it?
You know that it is. I bet you know that it is. All the time. And the people on the edges are doing it all the time. They're the old folks, the little kids, the somewhat mentally challenged maybe. They're just in the moment. They're not saying, what have I got to do? Oh, my, you get stuck in traffic. Everybody picks up their cell phone and starts like messing with their schedules. You just want to say, let's just talk. Let's roll down the windows and talk. We're in this traffic jam. And that tends to be what I like to do.
Terry, would you mind if I plugged your book again?
No,
that's okay.
That's okay.
Now, the book is called Vacationing in My Driveway. There's a wonderful book. Wonderful cover of the book. That's a photo. Can we get a shot? I bet you our great team has a shot, and they'll put it in the monitor.
That'd be nice.
What is that shot of?
That's my little dented minivan. That's my garage and the trees behind it, and those are my little feet sticking out the window.
That's you?
Yeah.
we have to go out to the last break, and then we have Terry back? Do we have her back? Okay, great. Why don't we do this? We'll go out to the last break. We got another minute and a half or so left. We are talking with Terry Marotta, the author of a wonderful book called Vacationing in My Driveway. She comes to us all the way from the Boston, New England area.
Oh, yeah. 8 miles north of Logan Airport.
Good to have you. Right back, right after this.